All right, we're back, but only on screen for just a second as we're ready to go. Zanster and Nerchio, you can probably hear the beeps. Countdown has begun. See you in a sec. All right, folks, welcome back as we get into game number 1 in a brand new best of 3. I particularly like this one and on this map for a lot of different reasons. Shout out to Nerchio for the poop spam. Ugh, I never want to say that again. In the top left side of King Sejong Station, we've got the red Zerg player Nerchio playing for Euronix Gaming.
In the bottom right, as the blue Zerg, it is Zanster.
So, of course, this tournament is, of course, brought to you guys by TING. These are the qualifiers. A lot of people in chat, I forgot that this happened, of course, but the Europeans getting all snooty about their amazing phone plans. What you guys have to understand is TING is only for America. So if you're in Canada, unfortunately, you're SOL. If you're in Europe, you can't get benefits from it, even though it sounds like you guys wouldn't get benefits anyways. But in America, and I can vouch for this for every time I've gone there, roaming charges suck. The state's default phone plans totally suck. There are some that are better for most people, but if you're specifically someone who's around a lot of Wi-Fi and you don't rely on data, Ting is definitely going to be for you. And that's a big part of why they chose to market it through streaming, because if you're watching this right now, chances are you're around Wi-Fi, not necessarily on the train watching it through your phone on data. So definitely check it out, guys. bttv.ting.com, because Ting does have some of the best ways to save some money when it comes to your phone. Mm-hmm. But anyways, this is a great throwback for me. First off, it's Nerchio. Love him or hate him, I've always been like a fan of Nerchio because he is such a good Zerg player, period. But this was the map where Zanster showed us there's ways around swarm hosts other than just counter swarm hosts. This was the map where it was like Zanster and Cyril that were busting out like Banelings and Ultralisks on and other cool things. So of course, we've got some love for Zanster. He's a stupid kid that we've met a couple of times at events, and I love him to death. But he's quite a good StarCraft player.
You know, he's wearing a portrait code, you know. It's pretty cool.
It's boot time, baby.
What's up? Yeah. So we love him. We have like that personal, I guess, kind of bond with him. But Nerchio is obviously the favorite, I would say. I'm surprised if Betts really reflected that too, because he's been performing pretty well, you know, second place, no big deal at DreamHack. And just in general, he has some really, really good ZvZ, or specifically ZvZ. So that's going to be a scary opponent to go up against, especially on a map that not necessarily you've been playing on for that long. Now, they've both been around long enough to have played on it during its entire life, you know, because I think King Sejong was in the map pool for quite a while.
Yeah. Pretty much, like, it felt like the whole expansion. Between this and Overgrowth, I was like, okay.
Yeah, pretty much. So they certainly remember all of the cute kind of tricks that will happen or the discrepancies between other maps that exist on this. I'm trying to remember all the exact ones for ZvZ. I remember that because the Overlords will actually scout the naturals so quickly, that actually really like changed up like how often early pools were on the matchup. Back in Heart of the Swarm too, where they already weren't that common. There's like a really sick all-in you can do in ZvZ on this map in particular that's Ling based, where you break down your back rocks so Overlords don't scout it, and then you just rush in and kill people who are trying to get to roaches too quickly. That was always my favorite, but that's because Jaedong made like a supreme comeback with the exact same tactic, and you know, I miss Jaedong.
There.
I made myself sad.
Soon enough, we'll be playing Brood War again, and your flame of love
That's
will be
true. There is not a lack of Brood War, man. That fucking TL bar.
By the way, I saw you link the thing in chat. I don't know what we're talking about, but I just saw you write BaseTradeTV #1, so I'm just gonna go like, yeah.
We are literally #1 on the top 15 caster streams for April, which we didn't even do that much in April.
No, we had like 3 weeks off in April. That's insane.
We beat GSL and DreamHack and everyone.
Wait till they see the end of, I guess, well, May's not going to look very good either. Next month. Wait till they see June.
Yeah, it's see next month.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they only just started doing this again, because I'm sure February would have looked really cool too.
Because I remember they never included us in the past ones. It was always just specifically filtered out for players.
Yeah, that guy stopped doing it like a year ago, so if someone else just picked it up, which is pretty cool.
All right, well, we got the aggression picked up here, and Zanster unfortunately does eat a big Baneling to the face. It was only one Baneling for a lot of lings, so this gives up a lot of momentum, but he still has a huge army supply. Nerchio's not got anything too bad himself, but what Zanster has is roaches on the way, not lings already in play.
Yeah, so this is actually very interesting. He's going for both the Roach Warren and the Baneling Nest at this time, like, coinciding. This feels very much so like he's prepping for an all-in, especially with all the lings that are now being produced. So they're just going to try an all-in Nerchio. Nerchio trying to go for double upgraded lings might not be very helpful. The upgrades won't be done. Even with the Baneling still having to form for Zanster, this could be very tricky for Nerchio to hold.
So by the way, I see chat keeps commenting on the emotes in chat. It's a new thing with the patch that updated like yesterday or the day before. So there's a lot of new stuff in StarCraft, which is pretty cool.
He's going in a little before the Banelings. Gotta be careful. It's a lot of roaches, but still there could be a lot of lings waiting.
He's got a decent surround. Banelings come in from the front lines, though. Zanster looking to trade this out best he can. Misses on that first Baneling. He does get a decent second hit. Now he's got a huge army supply lead, and Nerchio finds himself again without upgrades and without an army to fight with. He's desperately trying to get some lings out. 20 more are on the way, but that momentum for Zanster, as long as he can keep these Banelings alive, means Zerglings won't ever really be a threat to him. Goes for the drone lines. Goes for the drone lines.
Okay, not the most explosive hits, but still very helpful. The roaches take down the Banelings going down the ramp, too.
It's too far gone. Nerchio spammed the poop mode early on when he won the Zergling fight, and Karma bit him in the ass really hard. These Banelings, by the way, just need to hold position on the ramp. It's going to be fine. Poopy poops! GG! Game number 1 going to go to Zanster. All right.
We're mature.
I just... It's not the fact that it's poop. It's the really derpy smile that gave the poop. Like, it just looks stupid.
That's any of these emotes, you know? Like, of course it makes sense to put, like, a smiley face inside of something relative to StarCraft 2. I get it. But the smiley faces they chose are all really dumb. Even, like, look at this angry one. The angry one is... Why is that the @ sign?
Let me go in game. Oh, is it, like, just... Because this has always been the angry face on like everything, like MSN, on Skype, like that's always.
I've never used the angry face. My angry face was this. Sorry, it's missing eyes. Oh god. Yeah.
Oh, if you do it the other way, it just cries.
Oh.
You and your stupid backwards things. All right, so what is the next map? I gotta queue up the
Invader.
So Nerchio may have lost that first game, by the way, but that I still wouldn't count him out just yet. But someone was commenting on me calling Zanster a stupid kid. And let me explain, guys. I love Zanster to death. There's some stories I cannot tell because it's like...
I found my emote.
The flex one? There's some stories about Zanster I can't tell because it just wouldn't be a fair thing to do on stream. But there's so many instances where we've, in real life, watched him do very stupid things. Like, lose all of his gear at an event. Like...
I have to buy Abathur to get 2 emotes. It's a ripoff. BS.
What's the symbiote and what else?
Locust. I don't want Locust anyways. It's bullshit.
Okay. Map intro is queued. We're ready to go. Whenever the players
they are too.
I would hope that one day you could get like streamer status, like base trade emotes or something in chat. That'd be so fun. Anyways, we'll see you guys in a sec. I just had actually the sickest idea beyond that I would love to see them implement. Like for them to actually create streamer emotes or something. That's a long, probably never gonna happen dream. But if they did something where you could, like they created a letter that was like a Protoss style letter, a Zerg style letter, you could like just start writing words out, but like in the Zerg text or the Protoss text or the Terran text, that would be cool.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Like Protoss would be pretty fancy, I guess, and Zerg would obviously be like kind of creepy, and Terran would be, well, mechanical.
Yeah. All right, game number 2 here for the TING Open qualifiers for Europe. This is the last qualifying spot available through this particular qualifier. In the upper left side of Invader, he's up 1-0. It is my pleasure to introduce Zanster.
In the top right, as the Red Zerg, it is Nerchio.
Of course, he's repping that Uranix Gaming. I know, who else is on that team? It's like, what, the Muslim and Firecake, and is that it? I'm trying to remember off the top of my head if there's any more.
I totally forgot about the Muslim being on that team, but yeah.
Yeah, the Muslim, of course, was like so gung-ho to come back to streaming and playing. I remember talking to him, and he was like really proud about this like all-kill he had in one of the team leagues. And then I guess he had some really harsh stuff happen in real life, which was unfortunate with his dad. So I hope that there's still opportunities for him to come back and play, because the Muslim has been consistently for a while like one of my favorite Terrans.
He's certainly a good streamer.
We literally watched him 2-racks his way to WCS one qualifier. For me, that was when I was like, yeah, he's got some balls.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully he does come back. Now, Invader being the second map choice. This is the first time we've seen it in this qualifier, isn't it? Poop. Yeah, because it's a poopy map.
A stupid face.
It just looks like it's like poop, right? But it looks like it sees something very lewd is going on.
I know, it's like super into it. It's like, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's surprising but good.
Hey, buddy, come here, check this out. And he's also like, oh, yeah, I'm glad you called me over for this one. Oh.
Jesus.
That Zergling over there is getting undressed. It's not wearing any clothes.
Yeah,
I think that
exactly
Naruto's having trouble figuring this out, by the way.
So, guys, am I in? Am I on this joke? I get the joke.
Okay, anyways, silly emotes. I'm sorry, the German stream is going to see all this emote spam. Silly emotes aside, Nerchio's going for a third base. Whoa, what? Hold the phone. This is... If he gets away with it, it's great, but it's really risky, because look what Zanster's doing. Well, Zanster actually also takes a third, so never mind. Did he see this and was responding? Okay, he did see it. I was going to say, though, he's going for +1 melee, which is really good if your opponent's going for roaches. If your opponent's staying on lings, it's not going to matter so much for the banelings, but it will tear through buildings, and if you get a surround on roaches, they die so quick.
Yeah, it is surprising what the difference looks like once in effect here, but it won't help your units further, which is always why like Carapace was like, you know, the original upgrade to get in the early game, was because if you went into roaches afterwards, it was obviously an upgrade that helped that as well. But if you're just gonna try and tear down buildings and like with lings, then melee is gonna be the way to go, or just win the game straight up with lings. It's gonna be great. Plus, you could go win some mutas after this, but we'll see what Zanster's plan is. Right now, it is make a ton of lings and kill Nerchio's third, or at the very least get into like, you know, a good trade with the lings, maybe go down to that natural, but his +1 melee is only halfway done, and his baneliness isn't done either. So Nerchio has a bit of a lead there. In fact, ooh, one finishes.
By the way, people are commenting on microtransactions based off this like emote and avatar thing. And I know some people aren't going to like it because you don't want to pay money for things, but trust me when I say this, like, this is a good direction for StarCraft 2 to be going. It's stale and it's boring, and if microtransactions can allow them to afford to make cooler things, I'm 100% for that.
People hate it when it's an almost necessary part, like an expansion or something, right? And they hate it, but then they do it anyways when it comes to like hats. I want free hats, but also I don't want that guy to have my hat.
Okay, nice attack starts off here. Almost gets that bailing. I'm not sure why he abandoned ship on that, trying to take this ling fight. If now the bailing's going to pop and clean him up. Let's not forget, Zanster's going to have +1 finish up here momentarily, but Nerchio's done something interesting where he has once again gone for double upgrades.
Yeah.
And if he gets both of those, he's going to be in a nice lead with what's available on the map. Let's also not forget he's been getting pretty good bailing hits.
Yeah, and actually trading very well with his lings versus Zanster's baneling. So this is really going quite poorly for Zanster. I see that he has Overlord speed on the way, maybe drops, as he obviously has an evolution chamber, to really do something here. Because right now it's not really working, but his +1 melee, even when it's done, it's not working out that well. It's only been done for the last like 20 seconds, so I can see why nothing's really happened so far. But it's to a point where Nerchio is just completely meeting him and is almost done with his own upgrades.
Well, this is a little bit awkward in the middle of the map because so much of this comes down to whose banelings hit what, but Nerchio's just going to run past all of this and say, screw it, I don't need to fight. If Zanster uses this as his opportunity to keep pushing as he does towards his third, that's going to go so much better for him, I feel. Because his Carapace first... Oh, God, Zanster, why did you just do that? That's why I call Zanster a stupid kid sometimes. I swear.
He might just straight up lose now. The Carapace upgrade is done for Nerchio. Melee's going to be finished too. I suppose if they trade thirds, it'll be still pretty even, but again, like those upgrades would be the big difference. And like Zanster...
4 lings versus a lot more from Nerchio. And the worst part is, you know, Nerchio can rely on one lucky baneling to turn the game around for him. Zanster actually has to take 2 per hit now. That's the difference that Carapace. Well, I guess with +1, actually, no, I take that back. That's right. Zanster did go for +1. So he should still be fine in that regard. But his lings will still lose the ling fights 1-on-1.
For sure. And that's just like, it doesn't even matter what the math ends up to being. Zanster's been taking bad trades. So it just feels like it's not going to go very well for him.
The army supplies are still kind of close-ish. We'll see if that still remains to be the case. So much of this is going to hinge on these Baneling hits. All 4 for 1 is a Musketeer saying, I think, but not a Zerg saying.
No one remembers the 4th Musketeer. Shh. This is very, very messy, but it's not entirely bad for Zanster yet.
If it is mostly just Banelings and no Lings, Zanster's fine, but it's going bad and bad and bad. He's still not killed this base over here either, so both players just kind of trading around right now, still being very awkward on both sides. But everyone's kind of washed out. Difference between Nerchio's got a better resupply going. But Defender's advantage for Zanster gives him, I think, that time difference to just barely arrive in time to defend this base. So once again, he should hold on. But neither player is really able to take advantage of their thirds. And that's what makes this so funky.
That is true, but Nerchio has had the better mining regardless of taking the third or not. And he's using that to get more drones. A lair is on the way for what I imagine is going to be a Spire. And with a Spire, believe it or not, Zanster can probably hold on for a little while longer, even if Betas do pop out just by running around for a long time. But that should be just a game over tech right there. Zanster, he's going for the third again, and there aren't any Banelings, but there are a couple of queens that I guess have already transfused and have a couple more ready to go, so doubt that's gonna fall.
Yeah, he'll have to take the time to kill the queens. He can't just hammer on the hatchery, which is gonna buy time for the Lings to come in and save it. So yeah, he should be fine. He's just backing away is probably the smarter choice. Keep these units alive. Still Zanster in the middle of the map. We got 3 Banelings head towards this mineralized. Zanster not paying attention. Zanster is gonna lose some drones. Oh, 6 go down, and that's not good. 2 more on the way. He's gonna try and save it this time. No, he's just, you know what? I've already lost enough. Who cares if I lose more?
Yeah.
He's pretty committed at this point now and forced to all in, but Nerchio is in such a better position in every way. Again, upgrades, bases, drones, you name it.
Yeah, I really wonder what Zanster was hoping for with this build, and I gotta imagine it was just hoping that Nerchio either simply was not going to attack at all, so whether or not he went for like upgraded Lings, just hoping that he would go for a macro game and continue making drones and try to maybe get it to a greater Spire, or hope that he transfers over into Roaches, which obviously never happened.
The attempt at Baneling Rain is not a bad choice at all. In fact, I rather like it, but Nerchio's not clumping up his Lings, and while Zanster's been the one perhaps a little bit foolish with his own Banelings, with his own Zerglings, Nerchio hasn't. His control's been pretty decent. Yeah,
this spread looks so silly in ZvZ, but totally worth it. These might do some damage, especially if Nerchio is looking off to the main attack here. He's running forward with the Banelings. Is he looking at his natural? He's not. Not. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
But the first Banelings kind of bomb out on their hits, and it suddenly ends up being 5 drones killed. So that could have been a little bit more, but still, Nerchio, I guess the drone count's a lot closer.
It is.
Base gonna get massacred.
That's where you really wish that you had
Banelings. Watch out, Zanster.
You know, oddly enough, the Spine Crawler is making it so the Banelings only hitting like 2 or 3 Lings at a time, but he still gets stuck in those Lings. There we go.
I mean, a Spine Crawler, 4 Queens is way too much damage. Now the army supply shifted once more. While this has been a somewhat back and forth game, I can't imagine Zanster does it again. I mean, he killed workers to bring this game on a more even footing. Cool, but as you pointed out, Nerchio's been mining better, and he's been mining off that third. Zanster's actually starting to mine out of his main, so this is really getting rough for him.
And he can transfer to that third. Oh no, there's nothing to take care of these Banelings. A couple more drones are going to go down. No, way more drones are going to go down. 4 more Banelings rolling in, and they find the drones all stacked up. That's it. Yeah, that's 16 drones of 33. The third going down.
That's a bit much. It's a bit much.
Oh boy.
Well, Nerchio will tie up the series 1-1. I mean, again, like for me, as much as I do, like I'm rooting for Zanster. I love Zanster, but Nerchio is to me the better player in every regard. It was weird to see him lose that first game. Makes sense for him to tie this up. Do you remember what the third map in the series is?
No.
I'll check when we get out of game. But I was going to say for Zanster, I mean, there's no map advantage. It is Zerg versus Zerg, but we'll see if he has any plans for whatever it may be. I mean, we're obviously not seeing any old Reynas come out, and nothing too crazy in that regard. Nice Baneling hit goes off over here, but Zanster still just has like supply deficits in every regard. GG. All right, so while Nerchio will tie up the series, we are going to squeeze in a break to get it over with as soon as we can, so we get back into the action even faster. We'll see you guys in a couple minutes. Thanks for watching. All right, folks, welcome back. Game number 3. Tied up now 1-1 here in the finals of the TING Qualifier, European Qualifier number 1. Spawning in the upper left side of the map. He's up 1 game currently. Or not up, excuse me. He just tied it up 1 game. Whatever. Best intro. Not as bad as Bly's. We're just going to keep rolling with it. So, yeah, it's Nerchio. Yeah, I think he's like Polish.
Even interrupting your co-caster. Nailed it. And in the
Plays
bottom right,
Zerg, so I mean, he's pretty good.
he's going for an early pool. It's a little important. It is the blue Zerg Zanster.
My bad, I didn't see the early pool. I was too busy
Yeah,
stupid.
fuck you.
You are being so lippy today.
I'm so lippy
Jeez.
today. I just use the F word all the time.
I mean, I like lippy zombie grub, but I'm just surprised.
Fuck
You're
you.
like, you're normally the much more, I think, PC of the two of us.
Politically correct has nothing to do with cursing.
Okay, politely correct is what I meant, obviously.
Oh, okay, you're right.
Hello?
Yeah, yeah, you're the more perversely correct.
But why? Whatever do you mean? That timed out really well in Nerchio's too. Now we got a poo party going on. Alright, so
God.
Zanster doesn't even try and hide this. Nerchio saw it with the Overlord. That was his response with the poop comment, by the way. His pool being later means he really can't stop this initially, but he will have Lings out soon. So it is a question of either giving up the third or really just... Or sorry, not third, the natural, or trying to pull drones to deal with it. And it looks like he's going to just kind of let it go. I'm surprised he's trying to build a queen out of it. It's a bit odd.
Well, this is, or was, sorry, without gas. So Zanster did, of course, go to his own base, but he has gas now. And as such, won't be so far behind on that tech. It looks like he could still get the hatchery, just tap it. Yeah, ring around the Rosie. Nerchio's not going to be able to stop it.
Yeah, I think...
Tap it.
Well, no. So right now he wants to actually take a fight, which I don't think is a bad choice, but he couldn't tap it because of the broodlings. But now he's lost out on that opportunity, and... I mean, it wasn't, oh my god, the end of the world that Zanster got versus didn't get that hatchery, but it's pretty important to note that he's really behind because of it now. You could have argued that with a gold base, he makes up that difference in drones because of saturation. But now he can't kill that hatchery, and his queen's and a spine crawler, and this was a mistake to not finish that off. I think losing the lings to the potential broodlings would have been worth it.
Yeah, I think he was gonna lose that fight anyway. There's more lings on the way. The drones were pulled, and you could have hoped to at least run away from the broodlings, but at least you would have gotten the hatchery. So, I don't know. He still has an opportunity to basically just again tap it. But with banelings potentially being involved, as well as a spine crawler, it's going to be a lot more difficult. But his speed will be finishing up a lot quicker because Nerchio went for the baneling nest first and still has not gotten any banelings. This could actually be a real problem as Zanster is just getting more lings in general, and Nerchio, maybe misreading the situation here, is trying to get a third base.
Well, income for Zanster is holding strong thanks to gold. We'll see if this ends up being a mistake or not for Nerchio. It is worth noting, he's done really well in these games, but a lot of this has been awkward baneling hits and Zanster running into things. I don't know if he can rely on that.
Okay, well, Nerchio sees all the lings now, so he's going to try and get a wall off, I believe, in that natural with the Roachhorn, a couple of evolution chambers, maybe? There we go, they're coming down now, and the queen to fuck up the rest of that hole. Baneling hit was fairly good, and Zanster, remember, does not have his own banelings, so this really, once the baneling's finished, he's in a lot of trouble.
I think he's already in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, he sacrificed a lot of drones to make this happen, and at best, now, all he can get is a cancel on the third base. Which I don't think is going to be enough to make up for 11 drones over such a long period of time. Nerchio's had that for a while.
Well, not to mention, Nerchio's also going to be able to move towards roaches while this goes on, so it's not even just about, here and now, it comes up next.
Oh, well, good news, that wasn't a cancel.
Yeah, the kill helps a bit, but it's still a difference of, it's less about work, it's more about what's on the field, and that's, again, going to be roaches soon enough. And I don't think lings without upgrades can really take those on.
If Zanster could get any type of counterattack, that hatchery in the natural is still very low. Well, even without roaches, Zanster's at a tech disadvantage because he never got a baneling nest. So every single time the banelings come forward, he has to retreat, and his best bet is to just try and send everything back home. But that's going to cause Nerchio to... he's bringing the banelings back, but not the lings. Okay, that's probably a good
Zanster
decision.
Doesn't necessarily have the means to defend this. Queen's going to get some of the action. She's probably going to go down. He's going for a cancel on that third once again, but... Forget the third, kill the natural.
Yeah, the natural is actually a lot weaker. Had he automatically gone to the natural, the banelings would not have caught up with his speedlings, and he probably would have been able to kill it.
Yeah, for sure.
Now he hasn't killed the natural, he hasn't canceled the third again. He does have roaches faster than Nerchio, funnily enough, because Nerchio is building a second Roachhorn. Why'd you do that?
He did. Okay.
Okay, well, that's what you call habit.
Well, okay, my point of this, though, is like, okay, maybe Zanster gets 5 Roachers out first, but Nerchio's also going to be able to get 10 Roachers, period. Like, he's going to have more because he's got better money, better mining. Like, Zanster has so much fewer drones. This is a hard game to play out. I guess the nice thing about Prion is it does mean he's still got the opportunity to play, but, man, did he just forget that his base was low earlier? It's kind of like, oh, that's right, I could have killed that.
Yeah. There has been there's been a lot of opportunities. I guess he just, maybe he assumes Nerchio would wall it off. Like, he's overestimating how good of a player Nerchio is. And that's too bad, because his own third is going to go down. And he is going to be down an entire base, 15 drones. He has even army supply, but that, I mean, what do you do with that? It's even, literally. So defensive advantage would work for Nerchio, and it'd be fine.
Well, Zanster looking to push out into the middle of the map with his roaches he's accrued. He's up to 15, which isn't bad, but Nerchio's got a Spinecrawler, Queens, a similar roach count. I mean, I'm rooting for Zanster, but he's got to make some magic happen.
Yeah, and I don't know how that's going to happen. If he had Ravagers, you could say Corrosive Biles, one person messes up, the other person doesn't. But with literally just numbers, okay, 3 Ravagers is not exactly what I had in mind. With just numbers, I don't think this is going to work. Nerchio, all he has to do is defend, and that should be a tap out for Zanster.
Well, Bailey's popping off on what they can, and doesn't matter whether they get good hits or not. This has already gotten too far out of hand. Of course, Zanster's one attempt to win this game just got lost to this attack. The Ravagers get focused down by Nerchio really quickly as well, so Zanster doesn't even have his own Corrosive Biles. This one's gonna land. GG, well played. Nerchio, I am very happy to welcome back to Season 2 of TING. I'm very excited to see him play and represent the European groups. Nicely done. 2 Zergs out of today, though, a Laser and Nerchio. I think we had, like, what, a Terran and a Protoss. Yeah, we had Super and Alive for the Korean qualifiers, so we'll see how things shape up. People have been asking this all day, like, why are we doing so many invites for this? And a big part of it is it's a random 32 bracket where last season we saw like 2 to 3 groups, like Zerg per group. It was not fun, it was not dynamic, and I don't feel like we got to learn a lot from it either. It was fun, I'll give it that much, but we don't want that to happen again. So we have a large amount of invites reserved so we can make sure that we can balance the groups accordingly. But like I said, if things look good, we can always open up more qualifiers and push back the group stages. I mean, the nice thing about TING is they're really flexible, and we obviously love casting, so more opportunities, more awesomeness through that. But I think that pretty much wraps it up for today. So once again, guys, if you want to support the tournament, go to bttv.ting.com. Make sure to check things out, and if you are willing to swap to TING, you will help build towards a 3rd season of TING. I mean, it's not much for you guys to sign up for TING, especially if it's a good plan for you, but know that every time someone signs up through that link, we get credited for it. And while we don't earn, like, commission on people who sign up, if we get enough signups, we'll get another season of TING. For those, I don't have numbers for this season yet, but last season we only needed 40 people to sign up, and once we got 40, boom, TING Season 2 is happening. Since then, I know we're at like 63 already or something, so we're already like halfway through the next season. Like, we're already good, but I would definitely recommend checking out TING, guys. They are just some of the best sponsors and best fun time I've had working with them too so far, setting a lot of this up. Because the guy in charge, Jesse, you guys got to meet him last season. You got to see some videos with him. He's just a nerd who loves StarCraft, and it's perfect. Those are the type of people I want to work with.
Yes, he is. A great guy, that is.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, not the other part. Anyways, wrapping it up though, we're gonna play some ads, get back to some shout outs, talk about tomorrow, and we'll see you guys soon.